and welcome to the 2021 Locus Awards. I'm Liza Tromby. I'm the editor-in-chief and publisher of Locus magazine, and together with reviewers, staff, volunteers, and our talented MC, Connie Willis, we'll be presenting to you the results of the Locus poll. When we did this for the first time online last year, our little pocket convention with its readings and a few panels and then the Locus Awards, we really had no idea we'd be doing it again online this year. But I'm glad that we have come as far as we have. We are so close to, if not fingers crossed, stepping out of the pandemic, at least moving into a new normal where we get to go outside and mingle and see each other. I miss everyone. So I'm really glad that you've all made it for this, and I look forward to seeing you in person in the future. When I started in print publishing a long time ago, I was foolish enough to think that I wasn't going to have to do any public speaking. And even though I'm talking to a camera right now, it still feels like public speaking to me. So I'm going to hand it off pretty quickly to someone with much greater facility than me. Connie Willis is our MC tonight for the award ceremony, or maybe a variety show is more honest at this point. Connie has been MCing the Locus Awards since before I started at Locus 18 years ago. And she's been a pillar for us. She is funny, smart, engaging. She's such a good author. She's written over 20 books. I don't even know how many short stories. She's won so many major awards. She's won 11 Hugo Awards, 7 Nebula Awards, a dozen Locus Awards, so many awards that years ago her husband was left no choice but to resort to unchecked hobby collecting, sewing machines, slide rules, you name it, just to maintain household parity. She is a wonderful person and one of my favorites, and I hope that you will welcome Connie Willis, RMC, for the Locus Awards.
Thank you, Liza and Locus, and welcome everybody to the 53rd anniversary of Locus and to our annual Locus Awards ceremony and our second annual virtual Locus Awards ceremony. And let's hope it's the last virtual ceremony, not the last Locus Awards ceremony. Next year we hope to do this in person, but till then we're delighted to see you this way and hopeful that the pandemic is almost over. Oh, and in case you're worrying about these reading glasses, I had cataract surgery last month and I can't get real glasses for another couple of weeks. So anyway, I was thinking about the pandemic the other day and how truly terrible it's been. The lives lost, the jobs lost, the careers sidelined and destroyed, all truly terrible. To say nothing of the mask wearing and the isolation and the hand sanitizer and the anti-vaxxers and the endless year and a half. And I suddenly remembered something that had happened to me when I was writing Blackout and All Clear. My husband and I were in England and we went to the Imperial War Museum so I could do research. They had a special exhibit on the Blitz, and I told him to go look at the tanks and bombs and things while I took notes on the exhibit. He came back in about 5 minutes and said, "You need to come with me. There's something I need to show you." "I'm working," I said. "Can it wait?" "No, you need to come right now." So I did, thinking this had better be good. Well, it was. Unbeknownst to me, the museum was having a free day for anyone who'd worked in the Blitz, and my husband had rounded up a bunch of old ladies who had been rescue workers and ambulance drivers and canteen workers during the Blitz, and sat them down and bought them tea and then come to get me so I could interview them. He got so many husband points that day, he is still working them off. I asked them a bunch of questions and I was surprised at how happy they were. They kept telling amusing stories and laughing, and I said, "I don't understand. You make the Blitz sound like it was fun." "Oh, it was," they said. "We were young and we were in London for the first time and there were all these men." Now, there's no way I'm trying to say the pandemic has been fun or to make light of the lives lost. But these women, who knew better than anyone how terrible the Blitz had been, who had huddled in shelters night after night and lost uncounted loved ones and pulled dead bodies out of the rubble, also knew that, awful as it was, there had been bright spots too. And that set me to thinking about the bright spots of the pandemic. Like the time that container ship got stuck in the Suez Canal and you were thinking, how on earth did they get it stuck sideways? It reminded me of the time my friend's grandmother tried to park in a parking garage, and she got the arm. You know, that arm that goes up to let you in and then goes down again to keep you from leaving until you pay. Well, anyway, she got it stuck through the window of her car. Now, I'm not talking about it coming down on the hood of the car. I'm talking about she got it stuck through both windows of the front seat. And the parking attendants had to completely dismantle it to get it out. To this day, we are still wondering how she managed to do that. Just like the ship in the Suez Canal. I mean, what was it doing when they got stuck? Were they letting the captain's kid drive? Or did the captain realize he'd forgotten his iPod and was trying to turn the ship around to go back and get it? There was also the New York Times writing helpful articles telling people things like, you can be a different person after the pandemic. And everyone trying to figure out who they might end up being. Darth Vader, or Professor Snape, or Taylor Swift, or Krusty the Clown, or Kermit the Frog. And then there was the vaccine. And all the people claiming it had microchips in it so that Bill Gates would know where you were as you were typing your location into Google Maps on your phone. And other people saying it was poisonous and that it affected their menstrual cycles and altered their DNA. And then one day I turn on the TV and here are people claiming the vaccine makes you magnetic and hanging spoons and forks off their bodies. And I thought, we've been doing that at science fiction conventions for years. And it has nothing to do with being magnetic. It just means you were sitting at a table with Ed Bryant or Gardner Dozois. Plus, my physics professor husband would like to point out that there is no iron in silverware or keys. Keys are made of brass. Silverware is made of stainless steel. So, anyway, but the best moments of the pandemic come from that queen of the pandemic, Zoom. From people trying to figure out how to get on, to cats and dogs and parrots and toddlers photobombing the meeting, and the poor guy who was having, shall we say, somewhat loud digestive issues, and every time he passed, his square would light up. From people spending hours shouting, "Miriam, we can't hear you, unmute your feed," to the guy plaintively telling the judge, "Your Honor, I am not a cat," even though he was clearly a cat. To that giant finger of someone trying to get off that is coming toward you and being the last thing you see before the screen goes black. I think Monty Python had it wrong about God being a giant foot that stomps on you and squishes you into the ground. I think it's the dreaded finger of Zoom. And then there are the Zoom committee meetings. A couple of weeks ago at the Nebula Awards ceremony, I was very honored to be given the Service to Sufwa Award for having served on 2 different committees. And I considered it a sort of combat medal. I mean, committee meetings are the absolute worst, but they are nothing compared to committee meetings on Zoom. Which brings me to my favorite bright spot of the pandemic. The other day I was doing research. Well, okay, I'll admit it. I was wasting time on the internet. And I happened to stumble across a meeting of the Handforth Parish Council. Handforth is a small town in Cheshire in England, and all the members of the council are at least 80. Think the Vicar of Dibley Parish Council meets the opening credits of the Brady Bunch. There were a lot of cut off heads and cut off chins and people's faces being over in one corner and out of screen altogether. And one guy whose back was to the screen some of the time for some unknown reason, which is par for the course in Zoom meetings. But that was just the beginning. This woman, Jackie Weaver, was trying to get the counselors to stop bickering so they could start the meeting, but they weren't having any of it. The chairman, Brian somebody, kept saying, "This meeting has not been called according to the laws. The laws have been broken." And "You can't kick people out of the meeting. Only the chairman has the authority to kick people out." At which point he abruptly disappeared. "Where's he gone to?" someone said. "She's kicked him out," somebody else said. We will now appoint a new chairman for this meeting, Jackie Weaver said. Oh, no, you won't, a very angry guy named Alid said, because I'm vice chair. I take charge. Read the standing orders. Read them and understand them. You have no authority here, Jackie Weaver, no authority at all. Whereupon she kicked him out too. After that, there was a lot of calling for points of order and people telling other people to stop talking and calling them fools, and the sound of toilets flushing and shots of old men's middles and people so close to the screen you could only see their noses. And there was a person known only as Julie's iPad, who was never visible, but whose disembodied voice would pipe up periodically to say things like, I'm in a meeting just now. Can I jump in when it's over? One guy said, the chairman of the council is the chairman of the council. And at one point, Jackie Weaver, pushed beyond her limit, said, please refer to me as Britney Spears from now on. It was wonderful. I can imagine myself in a few years sitting in the Imperial War Museum and regaling young writers with the story of how back in the pandemic, I had gotten to see the Hanford Parish Council meeting. Just watching that meeting made it all, the mask wearing and the social distancing and everything else, almost bearable. Well, that and the Locus Awards ceremony, which is the highlight of any year, pandemic or no pandemic. And speaking of which, Liza tells me I need to finish up now so we can give out the awards. But I still haven't told you about Primeval, my favorite British television story of all time. It was about, what do you mean stop talking? You have no authority here, Liza Trombley. You can't just cut me off when I'm...
Okay, thank you for that, Connie. We are going to start the awards now. I'm going to hand this off to our first presenter, who is a Locus staff member. Francesca Meiman is a senior editor and our primary graphic designer for Locus magazine.
I'm Francesca Meiman, a senior editor and design editor at Locus, and it's my pleasure to introduce our very first category, Best Illustrated in Art Book. It's been quite a year, and never is art more important to us than in times of trouble. So, the finalists are Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie, with art by Brecht Evans, Beehive. The Art of NASA, The Illustrations That Sold the Missions, by Piers Bizzoni, Motorbooks. The Dark Crystal Bestiary, The Definitive Guide to the Creatures of Thra, by Adam Caesar, with art by Iris Campit from Insight Editions. The Art of Frank Cho, a 20-year retrospective by Frank Cho, Flesk. Spectrum 27, The Best in Contemporary Fantastic Art, Catherine Chu and John Fleskis, editors from Flesk. Masterpieces of Fantasy Art by Diane Hansen, Taschen. Enchanted, A History of Fantasy Illustration, Jesse Kowalski, editor, Norman Rockwell Museum, Abbeville. The Hobbit Sketchbook by Alan Lee from HarperCollins UK 2019 and Houghton Mifflin Harcourt. A Storm of Swords, the Illustrated Edition by George R. R. Martin with art by Gary Gianni from Bantam. Fantastic Paintings of Frazetta by J. David Spurlock with art by Frank Frazetta, Vanguard. And the winner is The Art of NASA, The Illustrations That Sold the Missions by Piers Bizzoni, Motorbooks. Congratulations, Piers.
Hi to everyone at Locus and to all your readers. Thank you so much for nominating me in any category at all. I'm absolutely thrilled. The Art of NASA may not be science fiction, but I really appreciate the way your readers have understood the link between speculative fiction and how it can affect reality. The dreams and fantasies of the last generation very much become the possibilities of this generation. You look at what people like Elon Musk are doing now, you look at Virgin Galactic, you look also at the generation that sent Apollo to the moon. They were all raised on H.G. Wells and Jules Verne. And when they were kids and they were first reading these stories, their mums and dads would say, oh, that's just nonsense. But when they grew up, they were determined to make it a reality. Our ideas about what we want to achieve have to come from somewhere. And science fiction and speculative fiction is a huge part of that source of inspiration. So I'm really thrilled to be part of the Locust adventure, and I don't know what to say other than this came as a complete surprise, and thank you so very much indeed. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Alvaro Zainas Amaro. I'm a writer and reviewer and also the Roundtable blog editor for Locus. I tend to review non-fiction books for Locus, so it's my pleasure today to announce the Locus Award for Best Non-Fiction. The finalists are Plants in Science Fiction, Speculative Vegetation by Catherine E. Bishop, David Higgins, and Jerry Mata, University of Wales Press. The Magic of Terry Pratchett by Mark Burroughs, White Owl. Re-Enchanted, The Rise of Children's Fantasy Literature in the 20th Century by Maria Sachiko Sasiri, University of Minnesota Press. Inventing Tomorrow, H.G. Wells and the 20th Century by Sarah Cole, Columbia University Press. Bradbury Beyond Apollo by Jonathan R. Eller, University of Illinois Press. Weird Westerns, Race, Gender, Genre by Carrie Fine, Michael K. Johnson, Rebecca M. Lush, and Sarah L. Spurgeon, University of Nebraska Press. Beaming Up and Getting Off, Life Before and Beyond Star Trek by Walter Koenig, Jacobs Brown. Literary Afrofuturism in the 21st Century, Isaiah Lavender III and Lisa Yasek, Ohio State University Press. Science Fiction and Climate Change, A Sociological Approach by Andrew Milner and J.R. Bergman, Liverpool University Press, and The Visual History of Science Fiction Fandom, Volume 1, the 1930s, by David Ritter and Daniel Ritter, First Fandom Experience. And the 2021 Locus Award for Best Nonfiction goes to The Magic of Terry Pratchett by Mark Burroughs from White Owl. Congratulations to Mark Burroughs. As Terry Pratchett himself said, it doesn't stop being magic just because you know how it works. For viewers who'd like to know more about the book, it was reviewed in the February 2021 issue of Locus, and the review is available online for free under the title The Color of 2020. Again, congratulations to Mark Burroughs.
Hi. Thank you so much for this. Honestly, it means the world. I never expected anything like this to come of this book. I would like to dedicate it to Terry Pratchett, to Terry himself. Terry won a Locus Award in 2004 for The We Free Men. It was his first one, and it was very much a marker of his success in America as he finally started that ascent after so many years. So to even be in the same mix as Terry is remarkable and something I never expected. So thank you. I'd like to thank my wife Nicoletta, without whom I would never have got through this, and who supported me so much and put up with so much over the time it took to write. And she is very, very bored of hearing me talking about Terry Pratchett. Everyone at my publishers, Pen and Sword, so that's Jonathan, Laurie, Laura, Eileen, and everybody else. Kate Bodd, my editor, who I totally owe so much to. Andrea C. White, who did the amazing cover artwork. Check out her stuff. She's beautiful. Colin Smythe for all his advice. Everyone who contributed to the book and did interviews. So people like Charles Platt, Chris Priest, Nigel Planer, Tony Bush, who sadly has died since we did the book, but was a wonderful man. Martin Wainwright, Gerald Walker, Dave Langford, Joe Fletcher, Roger Payton. I've probably missed some, but thank you to everyone who helped out. And also thank you to the Pratchett estate for not suing me at any point, and to everyone at Discworld Monthly for their support, and just the general Pratchett fandom who have really helped. Yeah, I'll see you next year at the bar. Thank you very much, Locus. Cheers.
It's an honor to present the Best Artist category. The finalists are Kinuko Y. Kraft, Galen Dara, Julie Dillon, Bob Eggleton, Donato Gencola, Kathleen Jennings, John Picasso, Sean Tan, Charles Vess, Michael Whalen. And it is my deep honor to present this award to the inimitable John Picasso, the winner of this year's Locus Award for Best Artist. Congratulations, John.
Hey there, Locus. Wow, amazing. Thank you so much. This is going to be my 25th year in this business. Ridiculous how time flies. And I guess this award is about the work I did last year. I think as in any year, these recognitions are always about the people who gave you chances and opportunities. And I think one of the biggest ones that happened last year was thanks to Rebecca Roanhorse and the book Black Sun. Joe Monte was the guy that gave me the chance, along with Rebecca, who of course wrote the book. I think it's one of the best ones we had last year. It's an amazing read, and I'm very grateful to have been a part of that book and hopefully the ongoing series. The art directors were Lisa Litwack and John Vero, and they really let me do what I really wanted to do for that cover, and they did some very provocative design as well on it. So that seemed to connect with you guys out there, and I'm grateful for that. This award maybe could be about the Loteria work I did last year. La Maceta really connected with a lot of people, and as always, I'm very grateful because that's an ongoing series of work that I'm doing. It's very personal to me, and La Maceta, I know, had a huge impact last year, so thank you for that. Maybe this is about the Tor.com work that Irene Gallo gave me last year, and Irene's given me so many chances over the years, and I'm just very grateful to her. And maybe this is about that as well, but whatever it was, thank you. I look forward to continuing to do more cover art and more work in this business in the coming years. And this is a very tough year for all of us, and I'm hoping we're seeing daylight now, and we're just going to hang in there and hopefully get through this. But thank you so much. It means the world. Take care out there.
Oh, hello. Oh, I'm here. Oh, wait. My name is Arlie Sorg. I'm co-editor-in-chief at Fantasy Magazine and senior editor at Locus Magazine, and I am here in the Locus office. I'm going to present the Best Editor category Locus Award. The finalists for Best Editor are John Joseph Adams, Neil Clark, Ellen Datlow, C.C. Finley, Sylvia Moreno Garcia, Diana M. Foe, Jonathan Strand, Lynn M. Thomas and Michael Damian Thomas, Anne and Jeff Vandermeer, and Sheila Williams. And the winner of the Best Editor category is Ellen Datlow. Massive congratulations, Ellen. Thank you so much for your work and all the anthologies you put out. And congratulations to all of the finalists, but huge congratulations to Ellen. And this is a great set of people with a wonderful body of work. So go read something. Thank you.
If you see me here, it means I've won the Locus Award for Best Editor. Thank you all so much. I'm currently, well, not as I record this, but during the ceremony, at my mother's celebrating her 94th birthday. It's thanks to her and my late father that I'm the person you see before you. They always encouraged me to read whatever and whenever I wanted. Well, except for when we were supposed to be sitting down to a meal. Thanks, Mom. Editing relies on having something to edit, and so I thank all the writers I've worked with for writing amazing stories that I've had the privilege to work on with them. Also, thank you to my book publishers and to everyone at Tor.com for their support. And of course, thanks to all you readers out there.
Hello again. I'm going to be presenting this year's Locus Award for Best Publisher. This year's finalists are Angry Robot, Daw, Del Rey, Gallants, Orbit, Saga, Subterranean, Tor, and Tor.com Publishing. And the winner of this year's Locus Award for Publisher is Tor. Congratulations, Tom Doherty, Davey Pillay, and the whole Tor team.
Hi, I'm Davey Pillay, the publisher and president of Tom Doherty Associates. This is an auspicious start to my new job, and I'm so excited to be here with all of you at the Locus Awards. And I wanted to say thank you for choosing Tor Books as Best Publisher of the Year. I also want to say thank you to the authors, the editors, the salespeople, the marketing, the publicity, the ad promo, the operations, and everyone else who's involved at Tom Doherty Associates and Tor Books, who made Tor such a great place and such a fun place to work. This is a wonderful team and one of the best in the business. I want to say thank you so much. I also want to say thank you to the fans, the readers, and the lovers of books who help make this possible and who are the reason that we are doing what we do and who make everything about our jobs amazing. Thanks so much.
I'm back again. I kind of got to pick which categories I presented, so... Anyway, I'm going to be presenting the Locus Award for Best Magazine for 2020. This year's finalists are Analog, Asimov's, Beneath Ceaseless Skies, Clark's World, Fantasy and Science Fiction, Faya, Lightspeed, Strange Horizons, Tor.com, and Uncanny Magazine. And this year's winner is Tor.com. Congratulations.
Oh my gosh, wow. Thank you, Locus magazine readers, for voting Tor.com as the best magazine this past year. I'm the Tor.com magazine director, Chris Law, and we worked really hard and really mindfully to take care of ourselves, our writers, and our readers this past year, and we have so many people to thank for helping us. First, of course, is Tom Doherty for creating Tor Books and subsequently the launchpad for the good ship Stubby the Rocket. We'd also like to thank Fritz Foy for assembling and launching that rocket, and Tom Doherty Associates President David Pillai for providing the fuel. Our publisher, Irene Gallo, we definitely need to thank for a creative vision so consistent and so amazing it eventually grew into an entire novella imprint. The nonfiction magazine itself would just be nowhere without the once-in-a-lifetime talent of our managing editor, Bridget Mcgovern. If you've worked with Bridget, and most of us have at this point, you know that she is super adept and careful at helping writers really express and really pull out the brilliance that they have always suspected was tangled within. I also want to personally thank our nonfiction team, starting with our resident chaos magician / books editor, Christina Orlando, our senior writer, theological scholar, and horrible goose, Leah Schnellbach, and our news and entertainment editor, Emmett Asher-Perron, along with the news writers Molly Templeton, Andrew Liptek, Andrew Tejada, and Seth and Gabriella. We're up and running every day, thanks to our amazing production team, including Stefan Raitz, Andrew Arenz, and our production manager, Sarah Tolf. Tor.com itself is about to head into its 13th year of producing original short fiction, and we remain absolutely blessed to be getting stories in from editors like Ellen Datlow, Ann Vandermeer, Jonathan Strahan, Justin Landon, and just the panoply of Sentient Star stuff that are the editors at Tor Books itself. It's amazing. You've seen the results for yourselves, and hopefully we can just keep going until, the universe grows cold. And finally, we have you to thank, honestly, for sticking with us through arguably one of the hardest years in modern history. We hope you were able to go to Tor.com this past year and find a new book or a new writer or just a slip of joy for a few minutes, if anything. And, if you weren't, that's fine. We all know how hard it's been. And you know what? The books, the essays, the stories, they'll still be here when you're ready. Thank you all so much, and take care of yourselves.
Hello, this is Gary Wolf. I've been writing reviews for Locust since 1992, and in past years I've had the honor of serving as Connie's assistant on some of these presentations in real space, and I hope we'll be back there again next year. I'm also here to announce the nominees for the Locus Award for Best Collection, and they are The Best of Elizabeth Bear by Elizabeth Bear, published by Subterranean Press, Big Girl by Meg Elison, published by PM, The Best of Jeffrey Ford by, guess who? Jeffrey Ford, from PS Publishing, Everyone on the Moon is Essential Personnel, Julian K. Jarboe, published by Lethe, If It Bleeds, Stephen King, published by Scribner, and Hodder and Stoughton. Analog Virtual and Other Simulations of Your Future, Lavanya Lakshminarayan, published by Hachette India. The Hidden Girl and Other Stories by Ken Liu, published by Saga and Head of Zeus. The Post-Utopian Adventures of Darger and Surplus by Michael Swanwick from Subterranean. 9 Bar Blues, Cherie Renee Thomas, published by Third Man Books. And The Midnight Circus by Jane Yolen, published by Tachyon. And the winner of this year's Locust Award for Best Collection is The Hidden Girl and Other Stories by Ken Liu. Congratulations to Ken and to Saga and Head of Zeus.
Wow, what an incredible honor. Thank you, voters and readers. The Hidden Girl and Other Stories is my second collection, and because I no longer had to deal with the expectations of a debut, it felt more personal to me. I filled it with stories that were interesting to me, that represented my interests and obsessions during those years, almost like a diary of the life I lived. In some sense, I put together the collection just for me. But there's an incredible joy that comes from sharing something that you thought only you could understand with others, and finding that they respond and see and understand the beauty you wanted to share. That is the magic of fiction. It's why we write and publish and read and share and celebrate, as we're doing today. I want to thank the staff at Locust for making this award happen. I also want to thank the folks at Saga, my publisher, for all the hard work they put into making this book. Because I like to be experimental, I made their jobs harder. And thank you especially to my editor, Joe Monti, who helped me figure out the order of stories in the table of contents, revealing patterns that I didn't even know were there. May you all get to tell the stories that you want to tell. Thank you.
And here are the nominees for Best Anthology. A Phoenix First Must Burn, Patrice Caldwell, published by Viking and Hotkey. The Best Science Fiction of the Year, Volume 5, Neil Clark from Nightshade Books. Edited by Ellen Datlow, published by Subterranean. Dominion, an anthology of speculative fiction from Africa and the African diaspora. Zelda Knight and Ekpeki Ogeneshawe Donald, editors from Aurelia Leo. Glitter and Ashes, Queer Tales of a World That Wouldn't Die, edited by Dave Ring, published by Neon Hemlock. The Book of Dragons, Jonathan Strahan, published by Harper Voyager. Made to Order, Jonathan Strahan, published by Solaris. The Year's Best Science Fiction, Volume 1, edited by Jonathan Strahan, from Saga. African Futurism, Wole Talabi, published by Brittle Paper. And The Big Book of Modern Fantasy, edited by Anne and Jeff Vandermeer, from Vintage Books. And the winner of the Locus Award for Best Anthology is The Book of Dragons, edited by Jonathan Strahan, Harper Voyager UK and Harper Voyager US. Congratulations to my podcast mate and old pal Jonathan.
I'm speechless. I can assure you that in Perth in Western Australia, I'm jumping up and down and celebrating right now. 2020 was an extraordinary year. We all know that. Books, wonderful books, were lost to the pandemic. Some didn't find the readers they deserved. Some really made an incredible mark. I'm just delighted that the readers found The Book of Dragons and they enjoyed it. There's a whole bunch of people to thank. I particularly want to thank the people at the Locus Awards for running the awards. I want to thank all of the people who've voted and nominated. I'd like to acknowledge the wonderful group of books that are nominated in this category. Patrice Caldwell, Neil Clark, Ellen Datlow, Zelda Knight, Ekpeki Ogeneshawe Donald, pardon me, Dave Ring, Wole Talabi, and Anne and Jeff Vandermeer. They all produced extraordinary books, and they all deserve your attention. Anthologies are strange creatures when they win awards because you don't really know who did what. But I want to take just a second to tell you, this book wouldn't exist without David Pomerico at HarperCollins. He saw what it could be, he supported it, and if you derived any pleasure from it at all, he deserves your thanks and acknowledgement. He did a wonderful, wonderful job. Also, the entire team at HarperCollins Voyager in the UK and the US, the staggeringly brilliant Ravina Kai, who is extraordinary and did great work on the cover and on the interior art. Each and every single one of the contributors, from the poets to the short story writers, have just produced something amazing, and I hope that you will, if you haven't read the book, that you'll seek it out and read it, but that you'll also seek out the other books in the category. I'd also like to thank my agent, Howard Morheim, who is always remarkable and helped make this happen. I'd also like to thank my wife and family. Without them, none of this really makes a lot of difference. And at the end of the day, please keep reading science fiction, keep reading short fiction. It was a joy and a pleasure to edit this book. It is a delight to be part of the field, and I look forward to what happens next. I mean, the joy of anthologies is they bring new work, new writers into the world, and I hope to be doing that for a long time to come. I hope to be doing it with more witches, more dragons, more everything. Thank you.
Liza finally let me back in. So, in pre-pandemic days, we would have a Hawaiian shirt contest and a trivia contest complete with lovely prizes. But since that's not possible, we're going to have a self-grading trivia contest. So I want you all to get out your pencils and paper and get ready. No, stop it. No, I know that you are all out there Googling Handforth Parish Council meeting. That's Handforth, Handforth. Stop it. You can do that later. Okay, get out your paper and pencils. Here goes. Number 1, who founded Locust magazine? A, Britney Spears. B, H.G. Wells. C, Charlie Brown. D, Snoopy. Number 2, when was Locust magazine founded? A, 2020. B, 1968. C, 1776. D, in the late Cretaceous, when Primeval, my favorite TV show, is set. 3, which award is voted on by the largest number of people? A, the Nebula Award. B, the Hugo Award. C, the Handforth Parish Council Point of Order Award. D, the Locus Award. 4, why does everybody always wear Hawaiian shirts at the Locus Awards ceremony? A, in honor of Charles N. Brown, who always wore them. B, in honor of Don Ho. C, in honor of Leslie Weaver of the Handforth Parish Council. D, the vaccine has turned us all into hula dancers. 5, do you have a subscription to Locust magazine? A, yes. B, no. C, no, but I am fully vaccinated. D, no, which proves I am a total loser, and that's why I don't deserve to win this contest. Okay? The correct answers are C, B, D, A, and D. Now, the first prize is normally a banana with famous authors' names written on it in magic marker. So if you won, you need to take a banana and write whatever famous authors' names you like on it. Robert Heinlein, Isaac Asimov, Louisa May Alcott, Leslie Weaver, Julie's iPad. It's totally up to you. If you don't win, of course, you can demand a recount. And if that doesn't work, you can have an audit in Phoenix, Arizona, during which you check the banana for sinister folds and bamboo fibers.
Alrighty then, I'm gonna step in and do some thank yous. We are halfway through the show. The first person I want to thank is you for tuning in and watching, for voting for the Locus Awards, for supporting the magazine, for supporting the field in general. We all really appreciate it. Also, my personal thanks to the whole Locust team who's been working long hours behind the scenes so that I could break away from deadline to help put this stuff together for you to enjoy today. And special thanks to senior editor Francesca Myman, who designed all of our graphics and put in long weekend hours helping me get this all ready. Our web editor Laurel Amberdeen, who helped make sure all of the internet pieces worked, including ticketing and lists and getting the t-shirt orders in. Our itinerant intern Ian Deek, who reappeared just in time to do some video editing for us. To Loser Ace, who did our image animation, and to senior editor Arlie Sorg, who's been our man on the ground this whole time, and who will be presenting this year's special award. A few years ago, we decided that while we had these voted awards for all of the works that were published in the year before, and for artists and publishers and editors and magazines and all of that, we really wanted to have an additional award that recognized people who'd made extraordinary efforts to improve the field, to contribute to it, to develop the community, to educate. We get the idea. So I'm going to hand this off now to our Locus senior editor, Arlie Sorg, who will present the Locus Special Award for 2021.
I'm here to present the special award this year. And I want to tell you all about Bill Campbell. So, established in 2013, Rosarium's first major project was published in October of that year, a book called Mothership, Tales from Afrofuturism and Beyond. Rosarium founder Bill Campbell was a writer who came up in the 90s, when Black authors were rarely published and their work was even more rarely acknowledged. By the time he started publicizing his first novel through the convention scene, Bill had seen more diversity in the stories being published, yet so many people he met had not heard about the authors who he was excited about. He realized that someone needed to highlight the voices which so many people were overlooking. And he realized that someone had to be him. Described as a provocative, entertaining, and vital anthology by Publishers Weekly, Mothership was just the first of many important works to center BIPOC perspectives in a meaningful way. Over 8 years, Rosarium has published important anthologies: The Sea is Ours, Tales from Steampunk Southeast Asia, Stories for Chip, Sunspot Jungle Volumes 1 and 2, and Future Fiction, New Dimensions in International Science Fiction. Bill has published collections by authors such as Carlos Hernandez, Tania D. Johnson, and Maurice Broaddus, and books by authors such as Nikhil Singh, Lisa M. Bradley, Barrett Ellingson, and Mahendra Singh. Through Rosarium, Bill Campbell has worked to highlight underrepresented perspectives and expand audiences for amazing authors whose voices are, even now, too often overlooked. Nalo Hopkinson said in a 2001 interview with Foundation, "I think speculative fiction has the potential, often realized nowadays, to be perverse and subversive and oppositional and revolutionary, which could make it a wonderful literature for radical and marginalized communities. Few publishers embody this sentiment in the ways in which Rosarium does. In recognition of this important work and what it does for the genre community, the 2021 Locus Special Award goes to Bill Campbell and Rosarium Publishing for amplifying diverse voices." Congratulations, Bill and Rosarium, and thank you so much for all the work you do for the community. We appreciate it.
Hey everybody, thanks for having me be part of your festivities, and thanks to the people at Locus for this award. It means a lot. I started Rosarium as my way to, in a small part, try to make the world a better place, and I feel fortunate to have been able to do that. Of course, this award, Rosarium itself, isn't really about me and never really has been. So I really want to thank the people that made this whole thing possible. So first I have to thank my wife, Angie, who has been through more ringers than you can possibly imagine with me and this project. And my 2 children, Rosa Neal and Aaron, who inspire me every day to be a better human being. My friends and family who put up with way too much and never see me at all because of this. And of course, there are the Rosarians who have stuck by me through thick and thin and who have supported Rosarium and their own work and their compatriots and have given me the honor and the privilege to put their works out into the world. To believe that people would entrust me with such precious things is just mind-blowing, and it really takes me back every day just to be able to do something like this. And of course, to all the artists and writers and readers and fans who have supported us from day one and on, through reading and tweeting and signal boosting and going to their stores and libraries and suggesting us and giving us their thoughts and prayers, whatever it's taken. It means a lot. Without your support and without you, none of this is possible, and it really wouldn't even be worth it. So once again, don't be repetitive, thank you. And again, thank you for this award. I'll cherish it forever.
Hello, I'm Karen Burnham and I review short fiction for Locus magazine.
I'm Karen Lord and I write science fiction and fantasy.
And we're here to introduce the nominees for the categories of Best Short Story and Best Novelette for the Locus Awards. So starting in on short story, the first nominee is Badass Moms in the Zombie Apocalypse by Ray Carson.
In the Lands of the Spill by Aliette de Bodard.
Dresses Like White Elephants by Meg Elison.
The Sycamore and the Sibyl by Alex E. Hero.
The Girlfriend's Guide to Gods by Maria Devana Headley.
Wait for Night by Stephen Graham Jones.
Littlefree Library by Naomi Kritzer.
The Mermaid Astronaut by Yoon Ha Lee.
50 Things Every AI Working with Humans Should Know by Ken Liu.
Open House on Haunted Hill by John Wiswell.
And the winner is Littlefree Library by Naomi Kritzer. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Naomi.
Thank you all so much for this honor. I want to tell you the story behind the story. When you have a Littlefree Library, people will take books and they'll also leave them. My friend Lyda has a Littlefree Library, and one day she noticed that someone had left a copy of Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky in there. She was skeptical that anyone looking in a Littlefree Library was really looking for Penguin classics, but a few days later, she ran into a woman who was taking it out. Lyda at the time had a Russian restaurant at the end of her block, and this woman was Russian. And she told Lyda that she was going to practice her English by reading this English translation of a great Russian writer. I told this story to my friend Rebecca. Rebecca at the time ran a used book sale at her kids' school, and a few weeks later she was sorting through the leftover books after the sale, and she pulled out all the Russian ones and set them aside to pass along to me, to pass along to Lyda. And Lyda put those books out, and they went like hotcakes. The real magic of a Littlefree Library is the magic of books, and the magic of sharing books, and the magic of books finding their way to people who need them. I'm so glad this story spoke to all of you. Thank you all so very much.
And now we're moving to the category for Best Novelette. And our first nominee is If You Take My Meaning by Charlie Jane Anders.
The Inaccessibility of Heaven by Aliette de Bodard.
The Pill by Meg Elison.
Burn, or The Episodic Life of Sam Wells as a Super by A.T. Greenblatt.
A Whisper of Blue by Ken Liu.
A City of Red Midnight, a Hekayat by Usman T. Malik.
Two Truths and a Lie by Sarah Pinsker.
Fairy Tales for Robots by Sophia Samatar.
Color, Heat, and the Wreck of the Argo by Catherine M. Valenti.
A Stick of Clay in the Hands of God is Infinite Potential by J.Y. Neon Yang.
And the winner is The Pill by Meg Elison. Congratulations, Meg.
Congratulations.
Writing something as personal as The Pill seems like the effort of a single individual, when in fact the opposite is true. Even novelettes have aunties and grandparents, so I have a lot of people to thank. I want to thank the folks in both of my writing groups, both the naming convention and finishing school, for their early guidance and their fearless reading. I must thank the folks at PM Press, Publisher Ramsey Kannan and Stephanie Pesvankius, without whom this collection would not have come into being. You folks are the best Marxist anarchist publishers I know. I must thank Outspoken Author Series editor Terry Bisson, whose attention to this work, particularly his editorial development on The Pill, felt like a compliment of the highest order. I want to thank the booksellers, readers, and reviewers who passed the word about this collection and this novelette to get people to read it. You folks make the world go round. Finally, I want to thank the people who reached out since this novelette was published to tell me that they wish The Pill was real so they could take it. You folks came out of my deep and recent past, my close and casual relationships, from every corner of the culture in a body you can't control, to tell me that you wish my haunted house could be your escape pod. I dedicate this win to your eventual freedom, to your understanding that this is a war that nobody wins. And finally, to the fat people who did not come to tell me that they wish my nightmare was for sale, this was always for you. Thank you.
And here are the nominees for Best Novella. The Order of the Pure Moon Reflected in Water by Xin Cho from Tor.com. Finna by Nino Schipri from Tor.com. Ring Shout by P. Jelly Clark from Tor.com. Of Dragons, Feasts, and Murders, Elliot de Bodard, published by Jabberwocky. Seven of Infinities by Elliot de Bodard, published by Subterranean. Upright Women Wanted, Sarah Gailey from Tor.com. The Four Profound Weaves by R.B. Lemberg from Tachyon. Come Tumbling Down, Shannon McGuire from Tor.com. Riot Baby by Toshi Onyebuchi from Tor.com. And The Empress of Salt and Fortune by Nevo from Tor.com. And the winner of the Locus Award for Best Novella is Ring Shout, P. Jelly Clark, published by Tor.com. Congratulations.
Hi, everybody. I'm recording this from my parents' home in Houston, where I'm visiting. If you guys are watching this, then the unbelievable, unlikely thing has happened, and I have won a Locus Award for Best Novella for my story Ring Shout. And wow, if that's the case. So this is the point where I thank everyone. You know, I think most people have probably heard me say this story before, but I've been wanting to do a fantasy story set outside, you know, the usual backdrops, something different in a place you might not immediately expect. Because I said, you know, I've said it before, who says all the fantasies with sword-wielding heroes and heroines have to be in Middle Earth or the like, you know, and so I thought maybe some of those fantasy stories could happen right here in the South, in Houston, where I was raised. I wasn't born here, but I always say, you know, Houston raised me, and it was where I spent a formative part of my life, you know. So it was great to have a story like Ring Shout that was in this setting, right? The story itself, as I've said, came out of a mix of everything. 1930s ex-slave narratives, Gullah culture, folktales and haints and root magic. Some Beyonce videos. Beyonce's from H-Town. Some Toni Morrison novels are in there. Juke joints. Memories of reading Madeleine L'Engle's Wrinkle in Time here in Houston, in this very house. A whole lot of Juneteenth barbecues and picnics and New Orleans bounce music down the street on I-10, you know, Houston's own DJ Screw. All these things kind of I threw in a pot, and I came up with this story Ring Shout, and I'm just really thankful that so many people actually found that heady mix, found that it spoke to them, and it spoke to them enough that they read it, liked it, and shared that with me, and now I have this award. So I just want to thank everyone, thank the folks at Locus, thank all the readers. Thank you for this award. I appreciate it greatly.
Here are the nominees for Best First Novel for this year's Locus Awards. The Vanished Birds, Simon Jimenez, published by Del Rey and Titan UK. The Space Between Worlds, Micaiah Johnson, published by Del Rey and Hodder and Stoughton. The Unspoken Name, A.K. Larkwood, from Tor and Tor UK. Elatsue, Darcy Little Badger, published by Levine Corrido. Beneath the Rising, Primi Mohammed, published by Solaris. Architects of Memory, Karen Osborne, published by Tor. The Bone Charred Daughter, Andrea Stewart, from Orbit, US and UK. Cemetery Boys, Aidan Thomas, published by Swoon Reads. The Mermaid, the Witch, and the Sea, Maggie Tokuda Hall, from Candlewick and Walker, UK. Hench, Natalie Zena Walschatz, published by Morrow. And the winner of this year's Locus Award for Best First Novel is Elatsue by Darcy Little Badger. Congratulations.
Hello, Darcy Little Badger here. And if you're watching this video, that means that Elatsue, my book about a tough Apache nerd and her ghost dog Kirby, has won a Locus Award. Which, wow. First, I have to say I'm so grateful for everyone who's helped me reach this incredible milestone. From my editor, Nick Thomas, the team at Levine Corrido, who published Elatsue, my agent, Michael Curry, the community of science fiction, fantasy, and horror writers and fans and publishers and editors who have supported me during every step of my writing career. And of course, the readers. You know, every person who read and boosted and voted for Elatsue, that's incredible. And I'm also grateful for my family, in particular my father. You know, as I say in the acknowledgments of Elatsue, it might be the first published book I have, but it's not the first book I've written. Actually, I wrote a 40-page mystery when I was in first grade. As you can imagine, being about 7 years old at the time, I didn't have the strongest grasp of grammar and spelling, and that first draft was pretty rough. But my father, who was a student writing his dissertation on Marlowe, took time out of his schedule to read my book, and then he went a step farther and he edited it for me, and he taught me what each of those edits meant. And then he taught me how to write a query letter, and we sent that book to a publisher. Within a few weeks, there was a rejection, but you know, it was a very friendly rejection, I have to say, very encouraging. And my father, he took that rejection letter and he framed it, because he told me that someday when I did publish my first book, I would look back on that rejection and be proud of how far I've come as a writer. Decades later, in the summer of 2020, my dad held a finished copy of Elatsue in his hands, and he smiled. And it was probably the last smile I saw of his. It's been a difficult year for so many people. It's been a year when sometimes, you know, it's hard. But I have to say one more thing about my father. This summer I was going on a podcast, writing podcast, and I went to him and I asked him, you know, since he was the chair of the writing department, Western Connecticut University, I asked him, Dad, what subject should I talk about on this podcast? What would help your writing students the most? And he thought about it for a bit, and then he said one word. He said perseverance. And yes, that's important in writing, in life, and it's a lesson that I will always carry with me as I write stories about magic and justice and beauty. And I have to say, I am so grateful for every person who helped me persevere during this very difficult debut year. You don't know how much your support has meant to me. So thank you again. And I hope everyone has a restful and wonderful Locus Awards evening.
The nominees for Best Young Adult Novel are Over the Woodward Wall by A. Deborah Baker, published by Tor.com. The Silvered Serpents by Roshni Chokshi, published by Wednesday. The Scapegracers by Hannah Abigail Clark, published by Erewhon. Legend Born by Tracy Dion, published by McElderly and Simon & Schuster UK. Deathless Divide by Justina Ireland, published by Balzer and Bray and Titan. A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking by T. Kingfisher, published by Argyle. A Song Below Water by Bethany C. Morrow, published by Tor Teen. Shadow Shaper Legacy by Daniel Jose Older, published by Scholastic. Race to the Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse, published by Rick Riordan Presents. A Peculiar Peril by Jeff Vandermeer, published by Farrar, Straus, and Giroux. And the winner is A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking by T. Kingfisher, published by Argyle. Congratulations to T. Kingfisher.
Hi everybody, I'm Ursula Vernon, aka T. Kingfisher, and if you are seeing this recording, it is because I have won a Locus Award for Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking. And, wow, dude, I don't know what to say. That's awesome. I'm so honored. I am sitting out in my garden in the rain because I thought this was a break in the rain when I started recording, and apparently it is not quite as much a break as I hoped. So I will be very brief. Those are roosters in the background. They didn't help write the book at all. They were actually extremely unhelpful for all book writing. Roosters are terrible. Never get roosters. Okay, some of them are nice. Thank you to my husband, my agent, my publisher, Argyle, my editor, KB Spangler, who edits all the things and is amazing. And all those people are wonderful and helped a great deal, unlike the roosters. That's all I got. This is a very short message. I'm still gobsmacked. Also, I'm getting increasingly soggy, but mostly gobsmacked. Thank you. I'm so glad you all liked the book.
Hello, I'm Gabino Iglesias. Yes, I got the memo about the shirts, but I am here to present the best horror novel category, and we don't do flowers, so I brought my friend. Happy to announce the nominees. Devolution by Max Brooks, Plain Bat Heroines by Emily M. Danforth, Beowulf by Maria Davana Headley, The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix, The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones, The Deep by Alma Katsu, The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher, Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia, The Hold by Hiroko Yamada, and Survivor Song by Paul Tremblay. And the winner is, I guess no drum roll, the winner is Silvia Moreno Garcia's Mexican Gothic. Silvia, muchas felicidades. Cheers.
Hello, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for picking Mexican Gothic as a winner of the Locus Award. It's just amazing. I would also like to thank specifically some people who were very important for the creation of this novel. In no particular order, my agent, Eddie Schneider, my editor, Trisha Narwani, and the whole Penguin Random House team behind it. I would also like to thank my mother for letting me watch horror movies and read horror books since I was a little kid. Mexican Gothic has been a great experience for me putting out this book into the world, even though 2020 was a very strange year thanks to the coronavirus. I've had not such a bad time because of all of you who read my book and have loved it and championed it. I was very afraid of what would happen when it was going to come out. Dates were being moved for all books, and we had no idea if bookstores would be open, if libraries would carry it, and if the book made it into the world and was a success, it was because of you, because of readers. So thank you so much, and I hope you keep reading horror and exploring all the wonderful varieties of books that are scary and frightening and spooky out there.
The nominees for Best Fantasy Novel are The Trouble with Peace by Joe Abercrombie, published by Orbit US and Galance. The Angel of the Crows by Catherine Addison, published by Tor and Solaris. Piranesi by Susanna Clarke, published by Bloomsbury US and Bloomsbury UK. The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow, published by Red Hook and Orbit. The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin, published by Orbit US and UK. Harrow the Ninth by Tamsin Muir, published by Tor.com. The Left-Handed Booksellers of London by Garth Nix, published by Teagan Books, Allen and Unwin and Galance. The Midnight Bargain by C.L. Polk, published by Erewhon. Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse, published by Saga and Solaris. And The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, published by Tor and Titan UK. And the winner is The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin, published by Orbit US and UK. Congratulations to N.K. Jemisin.
If you're seeing this, it's because I just won the Locus Award for Best Fantasy Novel, which is wonderful. So many thanks to the Locus voters and readers, and to my editor and agent at Orbit Books. Many thanks to the friends and family who supported me throughout this whole process. I am deeply honored and sorry I can't be there with you to celebrate in person. But thanks again, and woo!
The nominees for Best Science Fiction Novel are Machine by Elizabeth Bear, published by Saga and Galance. Attack Surface by Cory Doctorow, published by Tor and Ad Astra. Unconquerable Sun by Kate Elliott, published by Tor. Agency by William Gibson, published by Berkeley and Viking UK. The Relentless Moon by Mary Robinette Kowal, published by Tor and Solaris. War of the Maps by Paul Macaulay, published by Galance. The Ministry of the Future by Kim Stanley Robinson, published by Orbit US and UK. The Last Emperox by John Scalzi, published by Tor and Tor UK. Network Effect by Martha Wells, published by Tor.com. And Interlibrary Loan by Gene Wolfe, published by Tor. And the winner is Network Effect by Martha Wells, published by Tor.com. Congratulations, Martha Wells.
Hi, I'd like to thank the Locus subscribers and everyone else who voted for me. This whole long list ballot was just an incredible list of works and writers, and it was such an honor to be on it. I'm really so happy and grateful that Network Effect won this award. I'd like to thank my agent, Jennifer Jackson, Michael Curry, and my editor, Lee Harris, along with Irene Gallo, everyone else at Tor.com, my excellent cover artist, Jamie Jones, and designer, Christine Fultzer, and audiobook narrator, Kevin R. Free, and everyone at Recorded Books. And thanks and love to my husband, Troyce Wilson, for his support through a lot of ups and downs. Thank you.
And that does it for this year's Locus Awards. Thank you to all the readers and voters and the nominees who participated in our readings and panels, and all the people who made our virtual Locus Awards ceremony possible. Sean Can for gifting us the illustration, which we have used so liberally, and the folks from Dream Foundry for all their advice and consulting work, and of course, the hardworking staff of Locus. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next year, hopefully in person. And next year, I will tell you all about Primeval, my favorite television show of all time, which Liza wouldn't let me tell you about right now.
Thank you so much, Connie. Okay, I think that's a wrap. Is that everything? I think that's everything. Is that everything? Yay. Okay. Oh, hold on. No online presentation is complete without this. Okay, so from me, from my assistant Toto, from everybody on the Locus staff, thank you all so much for tuning in today. Congratulations to the finalists and the winners. Everybody, take care of yourselves, be safe. We really look forward to seeing you both online and in person next year. And in the meantime, have a good night, take care of yourselves, and thank you again so much.